Hello everybody, it's Diane here with the original Hollywood Squares, I guess you could say. Since I just did that layout in my altered book about the National Silent Movie Day, I still had silent movie stars on my mind, and these are the exact same ones that I just did. It's Mabel, Theda, Mary, Rudy, Doug, and Buster. And years ago, this is more actually like a scrapbooking type project or layout. But I did a project like this. These are all 1.5 inch squares. You can use any size you want. 1.5 inch squares, 5 across and 5 down. Or you could maybe do, 3 by 1.5 in a couple places just to break it up. Put them in an arrangement. I did have them butting up against each other. This is scrapbook paper. And then once they're all adhered, I put like little trims, little ribbons, little something to make it more interesting. So that's our project. But for some reason, that layout, if you will, crossed my mind. The former one I did was, it was a family thing with pictures of family members on it. That's cool too. Do that. You could do anything, pets, a place, a trip. Movie stars. You could do any style too. This is a little more vintage looking. You could put a word on if you wanted. I could write silent or movie stars or something, depending on what you're doing. You could write family or whatever. It's pretty nice. And it's relatively easy. All right, what if we had a double one? I don't know what kind of arrangement I want at all. I thought I would just pick out my squares and then go off and trim and all that and glue down and then come back. You can certainly do this any way you want, but if you mix up your floral, geometric, color, a little bit, it's going to look better than if you just have all flowers. You can do that, but generally speaking, things look better when you break them up like that. You know what I should do? Is just figure out, right? Okay, here's a line. Here's 5. How many more we need? You don't even have to use all scrapbook paper. You could mix it up with text stuff, book page. That would be kind of cool in a vintage look. Just plain colors like cardstock. This would be nice. Fabric crossed my mind too. If you're a sewer person, fabric squares would be cool too. All right, so we need 1, 2, 7 more. That's a lot. I have my film related scrapbook papers here. But I didn't think, aside from that one, that those cut up would look right. I was thinking of them more for little accessory things. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Holidays would be a good candidate for this too. this is okay. And depending how much decorating you're going to do, a lot of this may not necessarily show either. This would be good. That's a neighbor. Yeah, I have neighbors out, and yeah, that's my dog. He's barking inside. I don't. Everyone has barkies today. We're all wound up for some reason. All right, do I want another two thing? Double thing. That's pretty. I think, though, I need some more dark ones because a lot of these pictures are awfully dark anyway. So if I don't have a lot of dark going on next to them, they might sort of, I don't know what am I saying? You know what I mean? It's not going to match well. That's what she's trying to say. That's cool. All right, I'll take a corner of that. Oh, well okay, that could be a two thing. Okay. You like my precise measuring? You shouldn't. Okay, I think that's enough. I'm not going to bore you by counting. If not, I'll come up with a square by myself. So I'm going to pause and cut these to size, glue them down, and then we'll come back and decorate. Hang on. Yeah, I was short, like short a whole row. Did anybody pick up on that? I actually almost thought of just doing 4 rows because of the gears, and this was a clock down here would show more. But I don't know, it looked kind of skimpy, I thought, for the size. So you know them, right? They made silent films too. So I added that row. Okay, I wanted you to see that it's all glued, obviously. It's not perfect. This is leaning a little bit. Otherwise, it's not too bad. But if you do something like that, I just wanted to show you can camouflage it. So I'm going to add that or something similar. And then I was going to do some sewing. I have to do that off camera, so I'll come back. Hang on. Okay, there's sewing. It doesn't show up that well, but it's there all the way around. I may do some in the middle area, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't do it yet. And I thought, well, I need a word. So I looked in the Buster file, and I found that. And I just trimmed it, you know, as it is, and it fits in there absolutely perfectly. So I think that's pretty good. So, have at it. I have this stuff. It was a scrapbook paper thing. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. It's, there are actual images on there. There we go. And I hardly ever use it because I don't really know what you're supposed to do with it. That's kind of large, isn't it? She's still not going to use it. Well, alright, we'll think about that. I have old 8mm film. Maybe it should be going the other way. I don't know. That's not floating my boat too much. Okay. I also found Movie Magic if we want more words, but I don't think so at the moment. And then I have the scrapbook paper film stuff. I did think of tickets. I had these out from that last project. I kind of thought of putting 1 or 2 in a corner, not necessarily, you know, on the grid area. These are kind of large. Yeah, what color? I kind of like an orangey color. What is this one? Amusements. Well, is anybody really going to read these? All right, this one is a theater. Little footnote, if you're going to copy this exactly, I hope you know 9 by 9 is not a standard size. You are not going to find a frame for it if you want to frame it. So if you want to frame it, be prepared to pay exorbitant fees for a custom frame, or custom metal frames aren't so bad, or do it on cardboard, or when you're done, adhere it to cardboard, then it can just stand up by itself, or make it a standard size to begin with. Those are your choices. Okay, I kind of like that. I think I want a second one with it though. What about this end thing? And what if we use the pinking scissors? It does say admit one. Let's get rid of that white showing. I did ink edges of a couple of these, did have a little white border on them. That's just the way they printed out. Yeah, okay, that's good. So I inked that so it wasn't so obviously white. I have trims and ribbons here. I did think of, you know, scrapbook paper, flowers or something like that around. That might be pretty. Nah, that's too busy. Okay, I think with all this pattern, I don't want busy. So, could get plain ribbon or a rickrack maybe. It's kind of nice. But I guess I need images before I do stuff like border things, right? Right. Okay, let me move these boxes just a sec. So I can get to my flowers. I also have washi tape, as you know, that crossed my mind. Well, flowers I would think should be a little more realistic looking. What about this grouping here for a start? You gonna fussy cut, Diane? I guess I kind of am. Here, just a minute, I'll edit this out. Okay, here's the orange flowers. I added a few others that are not fussy cut yet. That's not bad. Okay, what about this film? Could even put it down or up. All right, what about a snippet across there? And then maybe one up here. Okay. What about washi tape? Well, those aren't thrilling me. I've got my narrow stuff. It occurred to me if you wanted something much more, it'd be kind of fun to go in and paint behind the images. That would be difficult, but the lighter ones, that would be kind of fun. I don't think Diane's going to have that much fun today. Well, yeah, okay, that's too narrow. Okay. All right. Now, what about these other film paper things? Well, kind of wide, unless I want to cut it narrower. This might be good. Yeah, I know, that's too tall. Well, yeah, then what are you going to do about that? I don't know. I guess I could just trim it to size. You're kind of being a big wet blanket today. I know, I'm really tired. The weather is dreary. I keep getting distracted by stuff around here. What about that? Okay. Okay. Well, it does say lights, camera, action on this paper. Do we want that anywhere? I have, whoops, lights and action. We need camera. Yeah, camera would be a bad thing to leave out, right? Oops, I'm sorry, we weren't filming. I've done that, haven't I, on YouTube? Okay, lights, camera, action. That's kind of neat. Okay, that's good. Something, maybe a ribbon. That's the ribbon signal, I don't know. Okay, folks, I had to shut the camera off because the battery was low. You didn't miss anything, though. But prior to that, I started the video. There was noise outside. I had to stop it. I started the video and I went blah, blah, blah over a word and had to stop it. I started the video and one of my dogs started barking. So then when the battery ran out, Diane waved her white flag. I finished it by myself. I added the flowers, the tickets. This was off a ticket, that little camera there. A bird off the internet. Another film strip, a couple birds. Where's the other one here? Some rickrack. And then I spattered some gold and white and splotched a little white also. I did not sew in there. You could. I was concerned well, at this point, I don't think it needs it. Just, as far as my piece goes, it looks finished. But if you wanted to run a zigzag here or there, it would probably be okay. But then again, I was worried it might border off too much of an area, and if you don't like it, you can't really. I suppose you could take it out, but then you have the holes, you'd have to cover them or something, so I didn't want to chance it. I think that's kind of cool, actually. And like I said at the beginning, you could do holidays, your own family, pets, hobbies, your favorite flowers, whatever you want to do. It's kind of a fun technique. Oh, I did run some brown ink over the words because it was just white behind it. Okay, I had to stop for noise again. Do you see the irony of using silent movie stars and I have to keep stopping my film process because of noise? Alright, so since this has been a rather lackluster video because of all that baloney, I thought I'd leave you with a few laughs. I wrote down a few of the highlights of the closed caption errors. If you're not familiar with, I used to make videos telling all the errors they print of what they say I'm saying. I don't do that anymore because like nobody was watching them. But there were a few winners here that I had to write down. Notebook, they said milk with. Okay. Dyed notebook. Dinova. Dinova. Ada cloth. They had eat a. So it's eat a cloth. Ada, that sounds like eat. I don't know. Glue book was glooping. So it was a glooping session, whatever that is. Exclamation. They said, let me stream. Just glue it. They had the name, and it was capitalized, Jessica Lewis. Lewis. So if any Jessica Lewis is watching, your name was on my closed caption. And the best one of this little go around, I wrote, or said, I'm sorry, pennies. They changed it to panties. So instead of save your pennies, they had me saying save your panties. So that's why Diane corrects her closed caption. Alright folks, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good day.